Hey, what's happening? Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Let me fill you in. It's very early this morning. I will never read your comments at 1 a.m. ever again. Let me fill you in why I'm saying that. I got a video all selected and ready to go today, and I'm going to talk about that more at the end of the video. But I woke up around 12:30, 1 a.m. this morning. I probably fall asleep about, I read. I tend to read like after supper, and I can fall asleep anywhere from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., but I don't sleep all night. Ever since I've been in recovery, my sleep has never gone back to normal. And I wake up almost every hour, exactly like every 60 minutes, not on the hour, but every 60 minutes all through the night, I wake up. I woke up about 12:30 or 1, and I see the phone. I see my phone, and I get notifications. I set my phone up so I get notifications whenever you guys comment, and I'll actually see who's commenting. I'll get your YouTube, your profile pic. If you don't have one, I just get a blank little ghost. But anyway, I saw one pop up. This isn't the one that popped up, but I started reading comments at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I came across a comment that said, what's car tax? Okay, and this was on my video about my black friend I did yesterday. I said in that video, I said I went to town hall to pay my car taxes. When I first read this, and I'm still not sure. I'm not sure if the person's being wise, if they're being facetious or sarcastic. I don't know. I'm not sure. To be honest, I've lived in Connecticut my whole life, and I've gotten used to this. It's actually called the personal property tax or excise tax. I didn't know if this person knows I'm from Connecticut because I have been busted before. People making fun of me, not of me, but of living in the state of Connecticut, because we are one of the highest tax places on earth, I think, and definitely in the United States. So I wasn't sure if it was serious or not, but I decided to look a little more into it and do a video about this tax, and I'm going to fill you guys in. Like I said, I have another video all set to go. It's about Lizzo, and it's explicit, and it's explicit and personal. And if you don't like hearing me talk about personal stuff, my past history, intimate history, then maybe I figure I'd give you two options. You can watch this video, you can watch both videos. I'm kind of warning you. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so here in Connecticut, we are taxed on our personal property, like vehicles, anything with an engine, motorcycles, trucks, cars, boats, and it's different in each town. Usually, like when I moved from the small town of Thomaston to the bigger city of Bristol here in Connecticut, home of ESPN and the oldest amusement park in the country, Lake Compounds, it went up. So this is what it is. It's basically $30.35. There'll be a link down below for Bristol so you can actually read exactly what I'm talking about. It's $30.35 per $1,000 of worth, and it's the blue book value, the evaluated worth. So if you're talking about a $20,000 car, I believe it's about $435, and this is twice a year. Now I'm just used to paying this. It's just part of life for me, and I didn't assume that everybody else in the country pays this. I wasn't sure, but it's my, it's where I am. It's where I'm going to probably be for the rest of my life. So I'm just used to paying it, and it's twice a year. So say if I have a $20,000 car, on January 1st, it becomes due. Bill for $435, and then in July a second bill becomes due. Yes, twice a year we get these bills. January 1st, and I think it's payable. You get one, and you usually get it like it'll say due by July 1st. And you'll get it right on July 1st, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It always scares me. It's like, oh my God, this is due right away. And really it's payable. It becomes delinquent after a month later, like on August 1st, and then the one in January becomes delinquent on, I believe it's February 1st. Okay, so like I said, it's different in town. It's called the mill rate. I don't know exactly what that stands for. The links will be down below. Like I said, I'm just used to paying this. And this goes for road maintenance. Now, let me talk a little bit about road maintenance here, because here in Connecticut, we have some of the most beat up, harshest roads. It costs a lot of money to keep them up. I'll start with the temperature, the weather here. It can go from 20 below without wind chill. It's gotten down to 15, 20 below with the wind chill. It got down to, I think it was 40 below 30 or 40 below last winter. And we can get up to, I think we usually get about 70, 80, 90 inches of snow. Last winter, we only got about 10 inches, 12 inches. In the summer, it easily hits, it'll hit 90 for every day for 30 or 40 days. And it gets extremely humid in this little pocket. Connecticut is kind of in a little pocket. If you're because I have viewers from other countries. I've been looking into my analytics, and I have viewers from at least 5 other countries: India, Scotland, England, Canada, and the United States. So I see you out there. Thank you for watching. And Connecticut is on the eastern seaboard, like I said, on the East Coast. And we're not actually on the ocean. The Long Island, it's an island that's part of New York, is below us, and it's called Long Island Sound. Is the water that's the shore of our state. Hartford, the capital of Connecticut, is pretty much geographically almost dead center, not quite. I believe Berlin, Connecticut, is dead center. It's the dead center between Boston and New York City, two of the biggest cities on the eastern seaboard. And Interstate 95 runs all the way up the entire eastern seaboard of the United States, from the very top of Maine, where my family's from, Caribou, Van Buren, Maine, bonjour, and all the way down to Key West. I believe it runs all the way to Key West, down into the Keys in Florida. This section of 95 is heavily traveled. As a matter of fact, I got links down below. It is I think 95 is the most congested highway in the United States, bar none, not even LA. The link will be down below. I looked that up this morning. That surprised me. And the stretch between where I am, basically all the way down to Washington, the whole thing is congested. But the Merritt Parkway, it's a very old parkway, and it was developed by, I can't remember the guy's name now. I didn't plan on talking about this. The Merritt Parkway was developed, and I've heard rumors that this guy has Nazi, if I'm not mistaken, he has Nazi leanings. There was rumors that he had Nazi leanings, but it's almost like an Art Deco highway. It's an alternative to 95. It runs parallel to 95 in Connecticut, and it's just for cars and not for semis, not for trucks, because there's bridges that are kind of oval, so the trucks can't get underneath, and they're very decorative, with ironwork all around them. So it's one of the better known scenic highways in the United States. I'll put the links down below. Okay, so that kind of fills you in. Like I said, and there is just crazy. I couldn't find the exact amount of traffic that travels every day from New York City to Boston through Connecticut, but I'm sure it's easily in 5-digit territory. We do not have tollways here in Connecticut. We got rid of them after there's been several toll accidents, and I didn't look that up this morning. One thing I did look up was the Mianus River Bridge collapse. I believe that was in 1983. 3 people were killed. And it was a horrific, within 2 seconds, a huge piece of 95, I think it was like 3 lanes, just a 100-foot span of a bridge just dropped. And I believe there was 2 semis, two semis and 2 cars on it, and 3 people were killed and 3 people were injured. The Mianus River Bridge collapse. And that's down below. And ever since then, we've taken, Connecticut has gone to great lengths to examine, to keep up on our bridge maintenance here. Because like I said, we used to use salt. I don't believe we use salt on the highways to melt the ice anymore. I don't believe we use that. I'm not sure what the exact chemical is that we're using these days, and it would just eat the bejesus out of cars, anything metal. The cars here in Connecticut back in the 80s, within 3 or 4 years of coming off the car lot, they'd start to, you lose the whole pieces of the back quarter panel, the back fender would just rot out, and it did the same to the bridges. Also, and this goes for bridge repair, for roads, and like I said, here in Connecticut we get a lot of snow, and it goes for plowing and all that. At least that's the way I understand this. And the way it's judged on the amount, how much your car is worth. Like I said, $20,000 car, it's about $30.35 for each $1,000 that your vehicle's worth. And it's due twice a year. So that kind of fills you in. I think that's pretty much everything I had to say about that. Let's see, I'm on 10 minutes. Okay, now, like I said, I kind of wanted to warn you guys because I wasn't even sure about downloading this video. I did this video yesterday. It's about the singer. I believe she's a Grammy Award winner too. I'm 57 years old, man. I am not too up on this. Lizzo. And she has lawsuits pending against her. I'm going to have several links down below because this is still a breaking story. And now there's new information since I did the video yesterday about these three backup dancers that are suing her, saying they were intimidated and threatened if they said anything. So this is still a breaking story, especially on TMZ. And the links will be down below. But as usual, it reminded me of something very personal in my life, and I talk about an experience, and it has a lot to when I was it has a lot to do with when I was using. This whole episode happened, and it's the reason I'm talking about this is because among men, among the male population, sometimes it's looked at as macho when you engage in this kind of behavior, and the double standard where if a woman were ever engaged in the behavior that I'm talking about in this next video, they would be labeled for life. The thing was, it caused anxiety and worry for years until I actually was tested for, I believe I was tested. In the video, I couldn't remember, but I was tested for herpes, hepatitis, HIV when I started going to the methadone clinic. And up until that point, I was so petrified. I thought for sure, with all the dangerous behavior that I engaged in for 2.5 decades, that something was going to come up, and nothing did. Thank God, knock on wood. But I wanted to warn you guys, and it's a tale of warning. Tale of warning, basically. And it didn't turn out like when I went out with my friends, I instead of being like, hey, he's the guy, it's like, that's the guy that did this in front of everybody, that ate at the Y with those two strippers. And that's all I'll say. That's the next video. So there's your warning, and it'll be coming up next. You guys, I hope I explained the car tax. Like I said, I call it car tax. It's really a personal property tax, or auto tax, I believe it's called. And the links will be down below. Have a great Thursday.